What's up, Players Choice? Welcome back to another episode of Chill with Chill. Unc and Neff, we back again. One more time. The show must go on part 2 this week. Chill Town. I'm happy to be here as always. Unc, how you doing on this lovely Saturday?
I told my man Ox. I said, Ox, listen, man, that seat just getting hotter and hotter. I'm just saying, Ox, and Ox's family, right? We already know how Ox feel. We know that Ox's family, and me and Ox do our thing. But I'm like, big Ox fam, that seat getting hot, brother. That's all I gotta say to you. That seat is getting hot over there, because I'm just saying, my man, that seat getting hot over there. So you might want to do something about that.
Yeah, it's hot. Hey, this seat might be hotter than it is in Mexico right now, Ox.
Yeah, that seat getting hot over there, big Ox.
No doubt, no doubt.
Seat getting hot.
So, to get into our first topic, we talked about it earlier this week. We talked about Draymond Green's suspension. I think one of the cool things was you have mentioned, it was more, you think it has to be in bounds with the policy. And I was kind of more on the side, like, you might have to try to make an example of him. So ultimately, I think you and I kind of got it in the middle, just because obviously Draymond Green's suspension is technically indefinite, but there are just certain feats that he's required of in order to come back into the NBA. So that could also be anywhere from 10 to 25 games, which was where you were kind of more on the lines, and I was kind of more that upwards to 30, 40 plus games.
Right.
So what did you think about the decision by Joe Dumars and his people? And what do you think about what, Steve Kerr also said about Draymond? This is about the person who punched Yusuf, who obviously got suspended earlier, he also had mentioned who punched Jordan Poole last year. So obviously even inside they're thinking about this stuff as well in the Warriors organization. So what are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, it's interesting how corporate America is that everywhere, where they cover their backside. It doesn't matter where it is. They absolutely cover their backside. So the NBA has one of the best unions ever. I mean, I watched Meta World Peace start a riot. He played 10 more years in the NBA. I mean, you can't start a riot nowhere and keep your job. You just can't. I don't care where you at. You can't start a riot anywhere and keep your job. So the NBA is very knowledgeable, and they're very aware of the union. That's where the indefinite suspension came from.
Right.
So we don't really put a timeline on it. It's just indefinite. Now, J-Rob, if you've ever had a job, anybody who knows when they hear the term suspended indefinitely, that means pending termination. So you're probably getting fired.
Exactly.
But what the NBA did was they added counseling. So we're going to give you an out here.
Right.
We're going to give you an opportunity to clean this up, because what we want to do is we want to keep the union happy. That's what we want to do more than anything. We want to keep the union happy, and we want to make sure that we're giving you every opportunity to keep your job. Draymond is in his position right now where he's skating on very thin ice. Very thin ice. And the reason why he's skating on very thin ice, not because of what he just did, but because of his track record.
Right.
That's why. Because of his track record. If this was a one-time thing, J-Rob, if this was a two-time thing, sure, we would have some issues. But this thing has been ongoing, and hasn't been ongoing for this season. It's been ongoing for years.
A decade, pretty much.
Years. This thing has been ongoing. I mean, how long is this supposed to go on before eventually you do something about it? And when I mean you do something about it, we've seen this long enough where now this guy is detrimental to the product.
Yeah.
He is now detrimental to the product, and I don't know how much longer we could keep this. I don't know how much longer he could stay around. Now, what the Golden State Warriors are culpable of, they're culpable of allowing this. Now, you could say that with a dirty work guy, you got to take the good with the bad, right? With a dirty work guy, you got to take the good with the bad. I can get with that logic, absolutely, because dirty work guys do exactly that. They do dirty work, and dirty work isn't just rebounding. Dirty work isn't just diving on the floor. Dirty work is other stuff too, like getting in goons' face.
Yeah,
right.
Dirty enforcer.
Right. That's what dirty work is. I understand that 100%. However, there's a line that can't be crossed numerous times before we now have a situation. And I feel like the Golden State Warriors, they created this monster. And J-Rob, when you create a monster, you have to tame that monster.
Yeah.
You cannot let that monster continue to just run wild, because if you do, eventually the monster is going to eat you. He's going to eat you right up. And that's where we are with Draymond right now. I feel like Draymond is skating on thin ice. I feel like he's in a position now where he's not going to change. I want to make sure I'm clear on that, J-Rob. I don't think he's going to change completely.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's in a position where he has to curb his ways.
Yeah, 100%.
We can't have a situation where, J-Rob, you just literally got out the clink. Literally. You literally just got out of jail.
Garbage bag and all.
You haven't even checked in with your parole officer, and you right back on the block. That's what we doing? Is that what we doing? You ain't checked in with your parole officer. You haven't even checked in with your probation officer, and you right back on the block. Literally.
Didn't even have a drug test yet.
Nothing. You didn't piss in a cup. You didn't go check in with your probation officer. You don't know what the guidelines are. You haven't even looked for a job. You just got out the clink, and here we are. We find you right back on the block.
Yeah. Fair.
This kind of stuff cannot happen. And the reason why it can't happen, because it looks bad on you, B. You already got that reputation. If I don't know, let's say DeAndre Ayton did that. It would look incidental, like, because that's not his track record. That's not who DeAndre Ayton is, right? If it was Jaden Ivey. But the fact that it's you could say, yo, it's unfair how they treat me. No, it ain't, because you're the one who created this.
Yeah.
You're the one who created this. And because you're the one who created this, this is how you're going to be treated. So I think the NBA, contrary to popular belief, I think that they gave themselves an out with the union. But I also think that Draymond is skating on thin ice, and he now is in a position where this can't happen again. And what I mean when I say this can't happen again, I don't just mean that incident with Nurkic or what you saw with Rudy Gobert. I mean that stuff like this, anything remotely close to that, you can't get in any more nonsense, Draymond.
No, I agree.
You can't. You cannot get in.
So let me ask you. Let's take this a step further, because I agree with you. I don't think he could get into any more issues. Unc, are we at the point where, if, let's just say for the sake of arguing, we get into next season, right, and he does something else, along the same lines, he step on somebody, do something like that, does that start to enter season suspension? Like, do you start having those conversations? Because I really think the indefinite part was to satisfy the masses. Right. So nobody's thinking about the number of games. They just think Draymond is gone until he gets help. So they don't have if he went, because I think honestly, if he would have got 10 games or 15 games, I think the masses would have been hard on Adam Silver. They would have been like, y'all condoning his behavior. So I think they indefinitely satisfy some people, but I think you hit it on the notes. He has to really be a thin line, because he would be pending, I think, a year-long suspension if this were to happen again.
J-Rob, let him get into some nonsense. So next season, just so you know, J-Rob, you just got out the clink, okay? Next year, just so you know, your record is still here.
Yeah.
You still got felonies on your record. You still got misdemeanors on your record. Just because the year changed, that doesn't go away. Okay, we got a new year, and we're going to scratch. No! We still have a track record here. Let Draymond next season, early in the season, get into some nonsense like this. Especially if it's something like this, where we end up swinging on somebody, or you catch him in a fight that he insinuated, where he jumped on somebody. Absolutely. It's not going to, because now, like I said, we have a long track record of Draymond.
Yeah.
Because we got a long track record of Draymond, we cannot not look past that. So absolutely, if the season started next season and we 10 games into the season and Draymond gets into some nonsense, they coming down on him. And rightfully so too.
Yeah, I think it's rightfully so too. Listen, it's not this only but so many times the judge can keep saying, Mr. Green, I hate seeing you come in here. Mr. Green, I hate seeing you come in here. It's about so many times for the judge keep seeing you before they got to lay down the hammer.
Rob, you're a football guy. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember Michael Irvin being in the courtroom, and I remember the judge saying to him, because I think this was like the third or the fourth time he had seen him, and I remember the judge saying to him, if I see you in here again, this is exactly what he said. He said, if I see you in here again, our conversation is going to be very short, and it's going to end with you going to the penitentiary for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't need to hear that again. I think I'm good. Yana, if you never see me again, it'll be too soon, sir. Yeah. You ain't got to worry about seeing me no more. I will not be in here again. You do not have to worry about that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm good. So let's get into some of these games.
Yes.
A lot of good basketball being played. Obviously, there was a mountain of games just yesterday. Obviously, the Spurs and the Lakers, the number one from the past versus the new number one of this year. You had Jalen Brunson's masterclass versus the Phoenix Suns. You got those Clippers, the Magic, and the Celtics. So, where do you want to start? What was your favorite game, and where do you want to get into first?
Well, I had a bunch of them that I really dug. But with the Lakers and the Spurs, they did exactly what they did in the last game, only they started that way. So if you remember in today's Saturday, so they played on Friday. They played them Wednesday. So Wednesday, they go into the fourth quarter with a 20-point lead. J-Rob, I believe they gave up 45 points in the fourth and let San Antonio back in the game. And they survived. They ended up surviving that game. Well, last night is the exact same thing. And that's how San Antonio got ahead of them. They gave up 42 points in the first quarter. 42 points in the first quarter. James is doing what James does. You got guys like Taurean Prince. They can't really stop anybody.
No.
I think that offense got whatever it wanted, whenever it wanted. And it wasn't a lot of, I don't think that there was a lot of action going on. I just think that they came out flat. Because they came out flat, they found themselves in a hole right from the beginning. And they were never able to dig themselves out of that hole. They were trying to dig themselves out of that hole. I believe that the lead was up to 24 at one point.
It was.
And they ended up cutting it to, I believe, 8. I'm sorry, 6. They ended up cutting the lead to 6. But a lot of times when you get down like that, more times than not, it's going to take more energy to get back in the game than it's going to be to win the game. And I felt like that team last night, I felt like San Antonio was going to let them back in the game, which they did.
Right.
But ultimately, I think it took more energy from them to get back in the game than to actually to win the game. I felt like guys like Christian Wood gave them some good minutes. Taurean Prince gave them some good minutes. I still think that Darvin Ham's rotation, like the previous game, I think they played Dallas a couple of nights ago, and he doesn't play D'Angelo Russell in the fourth quarter. He plays Reeves in the fourth quarter, the entire quarter. He plays Rui, I think, 9 of the 12 minutes. He doesn't have a rotation in the fourth quarter. There was no Cam last night, and there was no Cam last night. Because of that, I feel like that kind of hampered. I feel like that kind of hampered them, not just last night, but in previous games. I think that's something that he's got to fix. I feel like that's something that Darvin Ham has to fix in terms of his rotations. And the Lakers, if they're going to make any significant noise, because I think as of right now, I think they're in the 5th spot in the West, the 4th or the 5th spot in the West right now. I feel like if they're going to continue to make any significant noise, I think that they got to get off the better starts. I know that it was San Antonio who had just. I think they just broke an 18-game losing streak last night. So, I feel like that's big on San Antonio's part. They just broke an 18-game. I think they broke an 18-game losing streak, and because of that, I feel like this team is. I feel like this San Antonio team, the way that they use Victor Wembanyama. He plays in the post sometimes, and in the process of him playing in the post. He is effective, but they have him more on the perimeter than they do in the post. And I just 100%. Think that and I don't mean he's got to play on the block all the time. I don't think that he's got to play on the block all the time. I just feel like with him playing on the block, I think he's a lot more effective. I don't think that he really knows how to maneuver on the perimeter as well as he would if he played on the block more, because I think that's where he's going to be the most effective. I feel like that's where he's going to be the most effective at this point. And I got that wrong, J-Rob. The Lakers, I had them in the 5th spot. They're actually in the 8th spot.
But you're good. But you're good. That was literally it was one game. They lost to the Spurs, so they plummeted. The West is so close. So it's okay.
They was in the 5th spot yesterday. Literally,
we were having a conversation when we first had this conversation. They were in the 5th spot. They lost last night. They went down to the 8th. So it's all good.
In the Western Conference, man, I'm talking about like from I believe the 3rd spot to the 8th spot. It's only separated by 1 game. So you could have 2 games. You could go from hosting a playoff series to being in the play-in tournament. in 2 or 3 days. So
no, seriously.
yeah, I got that one wrong. That's my fault. That's my fault. The Lakers are now they're in the 8th spot, but they could very well go right back up to the 3rd spot in a couple of days.
Literally,
they could very well do that.
Literally, of the third and 4th seed and the 8th and 9th seed all have the same amount of wins. I think it's just a matter of game breaks. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is the 3rd through 8th seed is 15 wins, 14 wins, 13 wins, 14, 15, 15. Like the margins are so close right now in the West. It could go either way.
Game and a half. I think they're a game and a half out the 3rd spot.
It's close. Yeah, it's close. To your point on shout out. I actually cover the Lakers. Shout out to Lakers Digest. Make sure y'all go check in with that. One of the biggest things for me with this Lakers team has not only been, one, I will say this: the Lakers have not been healthy to start the year, and I think that's been one of the issues with Darvin Ham's lineups. Now, I do think in certain situations, I do think Darvin Ham almost at times is too what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
I think passive. I think I know what you're going.
I think he don't play to win sometimes. Like sometimes I think he plays to not lose the basketball game. Right. And sometimes I do think he needs to go out of his way to make the aggressive move, make the right adjustment. After the loss to the Spurs last night, Gilbert Arenas had talked about how, he's big on the Lakers going to get Zach LaVine. And because he thinks Zach LaVine implements the scoring that the Lakers are lacking when LeBron James or AD are out of games. I personally am not a fan of bringing in Zach LaVine. I think, honestly, one of the biggest – I think if you bring in Zach LaVine, you're ultimately stunting the growth of Austin Reeves. And I know a lot of people want to give up D'Lo for Zach LaVine. But I will admit this. I saw D'Lo play pretty capable in 2 playoff series until they got to the Western Conference Finals. And obviously, I think D'Lo was only judged for how he performed against the Nuggets. But I actually have no track record to look at Zach LaVine to say that he'll give me more production or give me better performances in three different playoff series. There's no evidence to tell me to have this level of faith in the Zach LaVine. And I understand the standards of the Lakers organization is a championship business. However, I do think there are other moves or other people that they should be more inclined to go after. I think that are better fits. Like for me right now, I know this may be a name that people may not agree with, but I put it out there, and I even said this on Lakers Digest. I think the guy that the Lakers should be looking at as a priority should be really a Lauri Markkanen. If you compare him with AD in your front court, along with LeBron James, D'Lo, and Austin Reeves with their ability to play the pick and roll, I think that actually benefits everybody on the floor. And also Lauri being 26, 27, he's a young player. Like he's a young player who's just tapping into his potential. Like he tapped into his potential maybe just a year ago. So I look at him. If you're worried about scoring when AD or Bron may not be able to play, I like games where I got Austin Reeves, D'Lo, and Lauri being able to play over each other. I think that's enough. If you had Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt's defense, and Christian Wood play some solid minutes, and those off nights where AD and Bron are out, I think that team could win basketball games. I truly do.
And
so
that's
I just don't know Zach is. I just don't know Zach is the right fit. I personally think Lakers fans needs to stop being so thirsty to bring in Zach. I really do like the guards that we have so far.
Well, you just mentioned. Where are the Lakers right now? How far away are they from the 3rd spot? How far away are they? They're a game and a half out the 3rd spot, right? So with that being said, we're talking about a team that last year was in the Western Conference Championship, which got put together at the stretch. So the last 30 games of the season. So now here we are. We have this team having a whole training camp, and we're 22, 23 games into the season. That's as far as we've gone. We're 22, 23 games into the season, and we still have a team that's still arguably a top 5, top 3 seed. They're only a game and a half out the 3rd spot, right? And guys are going to be in and out of the lineup. I understand your logic, J-Rob, about the development of Austin Reeves and guys like young guys. When you got vets like James and you got vets like Anthony Davis, we don't really care about the development of guys. We want guys to be because when I think about development, I think about guys getting better over time. We don't really have a lot of time. James comes off the books after this year.
Yeah.
James comes off the books. He can exercise his op and come back next year, sign an extension, whatever it is. But ultimately, he comes off the books. So we don't have a lot of time to wait for guys to develop. And there's no guarantee that if you get Zach LaVine on this roster, that he's automatically just going to show us that he's the difference. Especially after 22 games. I feel like this team, we don't know who this team is yet. We saw them at the end of the season. We see them now. We see that they're not necessarily up and down. Just the Western Conference is just what it is. And there is, with the exception of Denver and Minnesota, there hasn't really been a standout team. And Minnesota is the only team that I feel like has stood out. Denver is now getting it together because they got Jamal Murray back in the lineup. I feel like the Lakers could be a top 3 seed in the West at the end of the season, barring any injuries. But I feel like this crew has to stay together. I don't think that throwing Zach LaVine or shaking up this roster is going to make that. I don't think that that's going to make that much of a difference right now. I just don't feel like it with the Lakers.
No, I agree 1,000%. You know, that's why I brought up Lauri Markkanen, because I feel like I think Lakers fans are, and I don't even think there's a need. You have to 100% go get a Lauri Markkanen. I think the whole team just needs to be healthy. You need to see what you have with Gabe Vincent and Vanderbilt and all these guys playing together. I just look at Zach and I'm like, I feel like Zach is almost like a desperate move. And I don't think the Lakers team should be desperate. That's the problem. They shouldn't be desperate. You know, like they really shouldn't be. As somebody who specifically had to watch this team closely, the desperation to go get Zach LaVine, I think it is so overblown. It's overblown, you know.
And I don't feel like a team like the Lakers, you have to do something right now. It's not like they are Chicago. It's not like they're Toronto, where we were last season, where they're 2-10 and are garbage, and Anthony Davis is out of the lineup. He had the night off last night. That's all that was. He's not injured. James had the night off a couple of nights ago. So the crew is fine.
Right.
Let this thing turn into what it's going to turn into. We're in the middle of December. They're a game and a half out the third spot. I think that if they continue at this rate, and I don't mean with the 8th spot, I feel like if they continue and get better, I think this is a top 3 seed that's going to end. What you're going to need as a Laker fan is you're going to need somebody to take care of Denver. I just don't like that matchup. I don't mind any of the other matchups. I don't mind Minnesota, right? I don't mind Dallas. I don't mind any of those other matchups. I feel like having to deal with a team like the Denver Nuggets, that's just a bad matchup. And I don't know if the Lakers getting Lauri Markkanen, who, again, just like you said about Zach LaVine, what have you seen from Lauri Markkanen in the postseason to suggest that Lauri Markkanen is going to come in here and he's going to give you some legit minutes? Even though I think Lauri Markkanen is fantastic.
Me too.
I think Lauri Markkanen is fantastic. I did not realize with him being in Cleveland, with him being in Chicago, I didn't think that he was this good. He basically got unlocked in Utah.
I actually think is playing FIBA. I think FIBA did a lot for a lot of these younger players who, like Alperen Sengun and all these people. Like, I think them playing FIBA was just good for the confidence. I think they already had it in them, but I think good for the confidence for sure. No, definitely. I agree. I have nothing to go with Lauri. I just said Lauri just off the fit. Yeah. Because I think Zach actually, at least if you get Lauri, I don't think that would make them worse. I think Zach could actually be a trade that would make them worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it could have that type of potential. But
everybody, the people, real quickly, J-Rod, the people that I've talked to, the first thing they say is, well, Zach fits perfect. He's the wing scorer that they didn't have. He's the transition player that they didn't have. He's the guy that James could get the basketball to more. Okay, I feel that. But what you trying to do is you're trying to get to the top of the Western Conference and stay there. So you telling me that Zach LaVine is the difference with you getting to the top of the Western Conference and staying there, and what you would have to give up, right? So D'Angelo Russell may have to come off the books. Rui may have to come off the books, or Reeves may have to come off the books. All of these guys that really help you and in your rotation, and them losing those guys, that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge.
I'm telling you, I agree. I think there could be some chemistry nightmares that you could be looking to if that were to happen. So What game do you want to get into next? There's a few good ones. So we got the Knicks and the Suns, the Jalen Brunson masterclass.
Mm-hmm.
We could go the Clippers game, or we could go talk about them boys over there in Orlando with Boston. Right. Who you want to get into first?
So let's start with the Knicks, right? I want to start with the Knicks, and the reason why I want to start with the Knicks is because this crew, right? This New York Knicks team, they've been a bit up and down, but the one thing that I always dug about Tibbs is that he's going to get his crew to play hard. Mm-hmm. He's always done that. He's always going to get his crew to play hard. He's always going to get his crew to be tough. And I feel like with the Knicks, that's what you're going to get from this crew. And last night was a tough game. Even though you saw the 50 that you saw from Jalen Brunson, who is one of the craftiest guys that I've seen. And his herky jerky in and out ways. Mm-hmm. I think that's really effective. I don't particularly like the fact that he doesn't pass as much as I'd like. I mean, the fact that we raving about a dude, he had 9 assists last night, and we raving about that, right? I don't think that's something, right? I don't think that's something that we should be writing home about. He should be able, he should be able to score. I mean, he should be able to pass more. And the reason why I feel like he should be able to pass more is because when he does that, he gets so many other guys involved. I can appreciate the offense that the Knicks have because they run sets. Mm-hmm. They run sets. In the process of them running sets, he misses a lot of reads. Right. And with him missing reads, him getting guys off early, that could get him getting guys off early could get his offense going even more. But when he misses reads like that, I think that throws their offense off sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes that throws their offense off. I think he did a good job of getting guys involved last night. I'd like to see more of that. Julius Randle is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, bright spot on this New York Knicks team. I feel like he's the difference in them winning and losing over the last 9 games, J-Rob. Mm-hmm. He's 29 over the last 9 games. He's 29, 9, and 5. I think he's shooting almost 60% from the floor and over 40% on the long ball. And the reason why he's shooting what he's shooting on the long ball is because if you watch him in the offense, they put him in spaces where he can be effective. Like I watched Julius Randle in isolation. Watching him in isolation, they put him at the 18-foot line, or they don't have him at the long ball line at the end of the shot clock. They'll have him at the long ball line, like right from the beginning, where he's comfortable in their offense, and that works. I think Hartenstein is a really big addition to this team, one of the best rotation bigs in the game. I'm particularly disappointed in my man RJ Barrett, and I thought that he would be a lot better than what he is. I really did, and I was coming up with stuff like I was coming up with things like, they don't get him involved in the offense because I think he's a really good transition player. I think he's a good stop and pop player, but I feel like he isn't aggressive with his offense as much as he can be, and he will defend. But last night, I think that he was more effective in his off. I think he was more. I think he was more aggressive. That's the word I'm looking for. I think he was more aggressive in his offense, and because he was more aggressive in his offense, he took shots within the flow of the game, and that helped. Right. I think he could have went to him more, and I understand that, but I'm not a big fan of your lead guard who shoots that much and doesn't pass. I'm not a fan of that. I've never been a fan of that because I feel like it stagnates offenses, and it stagnates guys who you can get going, and getting these guys going is huge for your offense. Bradley Beal got hurt again last night. I think this thing in Phoenix, I don't think it's a disaster, J-Rob, but I feel like this crew, we're never going to see what they could really be this season. We're not. I don't think that we're going to see what they could be this season, simply off the strength that we haven't seen Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant in the offense. We haven't seen these 3 guys in the offense for an extended period of time. What it reminds me of what happened in Brooklyn with James Harden, Kyrie Irving and KD. That's what it reminds me of more than anything. So
I personally think, I was gonna say I think there's gonna be another net situation. You put this super team together. I don't think I'm gonna be honest. I don't think they're ever gonna have the defense capable enough to win the championship. Personally, just the way that team is constructed right now. I believe that chemistry matters in basketball. So if Bradley Beal is going to be sporadic throughout the years and throughout the season, and when he's going to be able to play and actually affect games, I think trying to wait till he gets to the playoffs for him to be effective is going to be a disaster. Unfortunately, I don't think people are looking at the Suns with godly expectations. I understand the names are big, but I think people, you think people still got them as like a favorite to go to the finals?
Absolutely. Big Ox, my man, Big Ox. He said that the Phoenix Suns, he had them walking through the Western Conference. He doesn't think that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, this was before the season started. Big Ox had the Phoenix Suns walking through the Western Conference. He didn't think that with that crew, with their rotation guys, with Little and Goodwin and Eubanks, right, with Watanabe, what they did with that unit, he looked at that crew, and this is from him. He looked at that crew, adding Devin Booker. I'm sorry, not adding Devin Booker, adding Kevin Durant, adding Bradley Beal, adding these guys to that unit. He looked at that unit like offensively, they're going to be fantastic, and there's no reason to think that they're not going to be as good. I looked at this unit thinking to myself, I seen what the super team logic looks like.
Yeah.
I seen it. And it takes a minute for this to get together. More times than not, when you put guys together, right? More times than not, when you put guys together, out the blue, it doesn't work right away.
Right.
More times than not. So that's what I was thinking when it that's what I was thinking when it came to this Phoenix Suns team. I'm looking at this crew and I'm thinking to myself, yo, we don't know what these guys look like. They don't have a lead guard. They don't have a primary distributor. That's Devin Booker, who's actually been really good as a primary distributor. I was really surprised, pleasantly surprised at that. Right. So with that being said,
averaging about 8 assists a game.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at him being a distributor. But I felt like with this group, they don't have a guy to slow them down, to regroup them when the game gets helter-skelter. I felt like that was it. And I felt like with KD, he couldn't just be the guy who, okay, whenever we need a bucket, we'll just go to KD. Okay, that works. Oh, I can get with that logic. That works. But what's going to happen when we get slowed down? What's going to happen when the game gets helter-skelter? Who's gonna be that lead? Who's gonna be the lead guard? But in terms of them being injured, in terms of them being beat up, and in terms of that continuity, I haven't really seen it with Phoenix. And
neither have I.
And Bradley Beal, he stepped on Nurkic's ankle last night on that jump shot. That's where he ended up rolling his ankle. But now that looks like him being out of the lineup again for a while. So here we go. Here we go again with this crew. So I really don't know what to do with them. I really don't know what to do with Phoenix.
That's why I came into the season with a grain of salt, because in all honesty, we've seen this before. Like I think we saw this before with Brooklyn. I think, obviously with everything that is going on with the Clippers now, I think there was some skepticism at the start. Like, is that going to even work? And so I don't think going into the year, assuming that Phoenix would be an automatic juggernaut, I don't think as of recent history should have gave people that much confidence in that idea, especially, Bradley Beal, he was missing time even in a Wizards uniform. Him being out is something that has been something that has grown over the years. Him being a bit unhealthy. So this happening in Phoenix, we saw this already. This is not something that is new information. So, I'm not, like I said, I gotta see what happens over the course of the year before I even really fully invest into the Suns bandwagon. In terms of the Knicks, love Jalen Brunson. Listen, RJ Barrett, I've had a lot of faith in him. As a Knicks fan, I definitely was excited when the Knicks drafted him. I was actually, believe it or not, back then, I thought that Ja Morant and RJ Barrett would be better long-term prospects than Zion, because back in the day, I was always concerned about Zion's weight. I always thought the weight thing would be a problem. As you can see now, it is still a problem, because it's not only affecting him with his conditioning, it has literally affected how he's been able to stay on the basketball court. Obviously, even with those issues, he's a better player than RJ Barrett. And RJ Barrett, I think, he starts off well. I think he starts off well. And I think he is not a bad player, but I don't think he's our future. And I think ultimately that's the truth behind it. I think Lakers fans love RJ. I love RJ, but I don't think he's our long-term plan. And I think Kenny Smith hit it on the head about the New York Knicks. I think the Knicks don't truly have a number one. Like, I love Brunson. I love Randall. I love our guys, but I don't know if they are apex predators in the NBA. I don't know if they're the top of the mountain type of guys who are going to help us succeed. Now, I think if you pair Jalen Brunson with somebody, I think it is big time. Right. I think he's big time. I love over the last 10 games what Julius Randle has been doing, because he started off kind of shaky to start the year. But also with Julius, I need to look at what happens going on later down the year. I'm not slandering Kenny Smith. I 100% agree with him. We don't have a number one. He said that. I agree with it. So, ultimately, I don't think he was wrong. I think we got to find somebody to bring in with Julius, with Jalen Brunson, because I kind of already know what I've gotten out of Randall as well. Like, I've seen it multiple years, and so I'm not willing to fall in love with the idea that Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are going to be the catalyst for the Knicks being able to fend for a championship. You know what I'm saying?
The thing that we leave out with the nail, like Kenny Smith, he said, the Knicks go into every playoff series and they don't have the best player. Well, we've seen teams beat other teams where they don't have the best player. That's happened before. So just because you don't have necessarily the best player, just because you don't necessarily have the best player in the series, does not mean that you can't win. You can definitely win. And I feel like with the Knicks, they still have viable pieces. I'm a fan of Julius Randle. I feel like Julius Randle does need to play better in the postseason. And this postseason right here is where I am. Is where I am with him. This postseason, he has to be better. Otherwise, J-Rob, I'm out. Because what I can't see is a second or third straight year where this guy's awful in the postseason, where he's good in the regular season and he's an all-pro performer in the regular season, and then we get to the offseason and he falls off a cliff. I'm out, J-Rob. He has to perform better in the postseason this year. So that's what I'm looking at right now with the Knicks and with Phoenix last night. I thought that they did a really good job in handling Phoenix. I think they got the Clippers coming up tonight, so I think I'm going to tune into that game.
Yeah, me too.
But
I have a good game tonight.
Yeah, I am going to tune into that game. I did dig last night the Celtics in Orlando. That was a statement game, J-Rob. That was a statement game, and I think they were specifically talking to people like me. Reason why they was talking to people like me, because I don't like that matchup, J-Rob. I don't. I hate that matchup. I watched the Boston Celtics in Orlando, and I hate that matchup.
Since last season.
I don't like it, J-Rob. I don't. I hate this matchup. And I think that the Boston Celtics was specifically talking to me going, okay, look, I know you don't like this matchup, but we can handle these dudes. Don't worry. Don't concern yourself with these dudes that much. I know that they got a good team, but we can handle these dudes. Don't worry about that, right? Do not concern yourself with that. And they did last night. I think one of the glaring issues with the Orlando Magic, one of the glaring issues is rim protection. That's one of their glaring issues. I didn't realize with Wendell Carter being out the lineup how big a deal that was. The reason why they're so good defensively is because of how they play defense on the perimeter. That's why they're as good as they are. Jalen Suggs is one of their better defenders. Isaacs is one of their better defenders in the limited minutes that he plays. I'm starting to watch him more, and he's one of the better defenders in the game.
He's pretty good.
Yes, he is. He's damn good. But I think the Celtics did a damn good job last night. And the word I'm looking for right now is taking advantage of mismatches and taking advantage of the Orlando Magic switching. I think they did a great job with that. So Jason Tatum had Wagner switched on to him a couple of times. I think he took advantage of that, getting downhill. getting to the basket. I thought he did a good job at that. I think he lets guys off the hook a lot, which burns me, J-Rob. Mm-hmm. He lets guys off the hook a lot with the long ball, and he did that yesterday with shooting the three. I mean, the Celtics, I think they started the game 1 for 9 on the long ball, and when they started to speed the game up and get downhill, that's when they started to make separation with the Orlando Magic. Jalen Suggs ended up getting banged up last night, but Drew Holiday did a really good job. There was no KP in the lineup last night, no Cornette in the lineup last night, no Al Horford in the lineup last night, and they still handled them. The difference in that ball game last night, J-Rob, was their second unit, right, with Sam Hauser and Pritchard. They got 40 points off their bench. I think that's the second most this season from that Boston Celtics team, and that was huge. Guys like Peyton Pritchard knocking down open shots, not just him knocking down open shots. Sam Hauser, who is one of the better defenders in the league that people don't pay attention to. People do not pay attention to how good he is as a defender. J-Rob, he's one of the better closeout defenders in the game. He does not make a lot of mistakes in closeouts, and that's huge, especially when you're running guys off the long ball line. He's really good at that. I thought he did a good job at that last night. I thought that they were able to generate points off their defense. The Celtics were getting turnovers, and I thought that they held their own in the post. Last night was a game. I don't think it's an anomaly. I don't think it's on the regular neither. But last night was a game that showed me, okay, if we had to see these dudes in a 7-game series, don't worry, we can handle them.
We can handle them. Don't get nervous. Don't think these young boys got our number.
No, we can handle these. Don't worry, we can handle these dudes, no doubt.
So I want to say one thing about this matchup, because I agree with you. This has been a bad matchup for the Celtics since last season. Since last year has been a problem. My thing is with the Orlando Magic, because the Celtics winning the game, honestly, you do what you're supposed to do. In certain situations, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown win the game. I understand everybody is not there, but y'all are both all NBA players. One was first team, one was the second team guy. Jaylen Brown, you're the highest paid player in all of basketball. Jason Tatum, most people say you're a top 7 player on the planet. Go out there and show who you are. And they both, I think, went out there. Even though Jaylen Brown didn't shoot particularly well from the 3, I definitely think he was still a plus 20 on the night. He was impactful. Obviously, you talked about the bench scoring, which was great. I think this team is going to be something to deal with as Porzingis gets back into the lineup. I think he's going to be big for them. And you know what else, too, that people don't talk about? The Celtics are 13-0 at home. You defend. I think defending home court in the NBA is such a big deal, because when you get to the playoffs, you know what type of team you are in home games and things of that nature. And I think the way the Celtics have handled themselves at home is important. But in terms of the Magic, though, I will say this, Chilltown. One thing I don't like about the Orlando Magic, and this is honestly to me thinking due to the fact that they're a young basketball team, I think they go as far as Paolo and Franz Wagner take them. And I love Cole Anthony and I love Jalen Suggs. I love Jalen Suggs because I'm going to be honest, Chill. That's, as a football player, Jalen Suggs is what a football player playing in the NBA look like. Physical, tough, hustle plays.
I think he did play football, if I'm not mistaken.
He was a 4-star quarterback. He was a 4-star quarterback. He could have played NCAA. He would have probably been been an NFL level quarterback. In all honesty, Jalen Suggs was that good at both sports. But he plays with that hustle. I've loved the way his game has grown. But when I look at this team, I think right now, even though Paolo and Franz are clearly the 2 best players on that team, they're still too much by committee to me. And what I mean by committee is you don't know who the guy is every single night. Is Paolo going to be 30 points? Is Franz going to be 28? It's Franz and Paolo have to dominate every single game, every single night. It got to be you two. If I'm the coach of the Orlando Magic, I'm having a conversation. I'm sitting down, Paolo and Franz, and I'm saying, we only go as far as you two take us. Cole Anthony can get 30 points, we can still lose. Jalen Suggs can get 30 points, we can still lose. But if you two go out there and do what you're supposed to do on a nightly basis, we are a damn good basketball team. But you can't have 14, you can't have 12, and then everybody else fills in. You two have to be the catalyst for us. And so right now, that's my only issue with Orlando. I want their 2 young stars because I think both of them, like if I'm Orlando, I'm not moving either of them. I think those 2 I think you found 2 potential stars, 2 real stars in this league. Paolo has shown a lot of improvement this year. Franz has shown a lot of improvement. I think they are the future of that basketball team, but they have to play like it on a given basis.
Yeah.
So you want to get into one more game, and what do you want to do? Because I know we still
let's get some people in here. Let's get some people in here, J. Rob. Let's open up the phone lines.
Right.
Let's open up the phone lines.
Let's open up the phone lines.
Yeah, let's open up the phone lines. Let's talk to some people, man.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, let's talk to some people because I know that we talked about some teams I didn't really appreciate. I hate the fact that how I felt about Cleveland. I feel like Cleveland's season is over.
Oh my God!
I feel like this season is over. I had them as a top 3 seed. I did. I had them as a top 3 seed before the season started, and now with Darius Garland out the lineup, he broke his jaw, so he's going to be out of the lineup for a significant amount of time. And now you got Evan Mobley. He's got knee surgery. He's going to be out for 2 months. So I think this sinks them. I do. I think that this sinks them, J. Rob. So I'm disappointed in that, man. 100% I am. I'm way disappointed in that. So what up?
What up? Hey, so I gotta say this. I was listening to you last night, Chill.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fully believe in these Timberwolves just yet.
You better get your bags and get on the train, fam.
Brandon,
get your bags and get on the train,
Brandon. Cat is another James Harden. You already know this. When the bets get high, Cat is going to disappear. You know it. And let's be honest. If Minnesota sees the Lakers, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
If they see them in the playoffs, it's over. They can't get past the Lakers. I don't care what anybody says. I don't see Cat dominating LeBron and AD. Mm-hmm. And Rudy Gobert, I mean, he is what he is. I don't
which is what, Brandon? He is what he is. Which is what?
What is he?
Solid rebounder, solid defense. Now,
No,
chill,
solid. You know who's solid? Mitchell Robinson is solid.
chill. He's not.
So chill. Talk to me. What is Rudy gonna do to AD?
What is Rudy gonna do to AD? He's gonna make it as extremely difficult on him as he possibly can. That's what he's gonna do to AD. Is he gonna shut AD down? I don't think he's gonna shut him down, but I think he's gonna make it hard on him. And I think that as the series wears on. I mean, I believe it was Bruce Brown who said it himself that they had the toughest time against Minnesota. Them 5 games was dog fights. Those 5 games was dog. That's without Jaden McDaniels. That's without Naz Reid. So now that you got those guys back in the lineup, which Brandon, you brought up a really interesting point about Cat. I heard a really interesting quote where my man said, Mr. Bobby Bird said about James Brown, man walked taller when he walked with James Brown.
Okay.
I think that Cat, as soft as he might be, with this defensive unit, I think you can protect him a lot more. I think you can do a lot more to protect him than you could if it was just him having a shoulder to load. Now he's got guys like Jaden McDaniels. He's got guys like Anthony Edwards. He's got Rudy Gobert. So he doesn't have to shoulder all the load, right?
Yeah.
Plus, offensively, you're going to put him in position because of how good you are defensively for him to get easier buckets. Now, don't get me wrong. I can only X and O you for a certain amount of time.
Exactly.
When we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, I got to get you the peel, and you got to get out the way. That's what Anthony Edwards is for. That's what you got Anthony Edwards for now. So I don't think that I don't think that Cat has to shoulder as much of the load. And I think defensively, I think that's going to be the difference with this unit. I ain't saying that they winning it, but Brandon, I'm telling you, man, I'm on this Minnesota train. I am.
I mean, hey, I like him a lot too. You was right on Ant. You called it from the summer. Ant looked like he made that step. I don't think it's 2 more years. Chill. I think he's in the MVP conversation this year.
Hearing that, man.
This year,
people telling me the same thing.
Ant is this year. He already there.
They think I'm crazy when I said 2 years. They're like, it's a lot further along than you think it is. I'm thinking to myself, I was thinking 2 years tops. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking 2 years tops. He's undisputed the best 2 guard in the league, tops. And I do feel like that at some point he's going to be the league MVP. Did I think it'd be this soon that he's in the conversation? I did not think that. That's jumping the gun right there.
Hey, I'm about to get out your hair, but I gotta let you know. Hey, man, bought that merch, man.
Y'all
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Have a good one, bro.
Yo, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Absolutely. What up?
What up, Breezy?
Yo,
what up,
what's good? What's up, Chill? What up, Jay?
What up, Breezy? What up?
You know, I mean, I know the Nets don't get a lot of play over here, but I just want to say you got a guy, Mikal Bridges, hitting, game winners over the Hawks. Now I'm saying first time he beat the Hawks in his career. Now, I mean, you got Cam Thomas knocking down free throws for game winners, sealing the game. Know what I'm saying? So, we 7 out of 10 of our last game. So things is happening over here. I mean, your guys, it's 29 of the teams that y'all might know about, but I just wanted to make some elbow room for the Nets fans. You know what I mean? So
let me get in here.
Make some space. Hold on.
Shout out to J-Rob. I heard he a Knicks fan. And one thing that I would want for Christmas, but y'all probably won't get, is for Chilla be a Nets fan. But that won't happen. I mean, I only said that because he liked Dr. J, but he went to the 76ers. But unfortunately for the Nets, I mean, even though he did help them win 2 ABA championships, but I don't know if that could ever happen. But that being said, I think we win this game on Wednesday, you know what I'm saying, versus the Knicks. Let me get straight to it. And I think it's one of the bigger games this week, man, that city game. So I hope the Players' Choice cover it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. But
I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up. 100%. I will. I'll bring it up.
Yeah, Breezy. I like that.
And hold on, Breezy.
I like Breezy. I like Breezy. New York sports stand up, man.
First of all, Breezy, you know how I feel about Eddie Jones. You know how big of an Eddie Jones fan I am. And who do I think is Eddie Jones reincarnated? Right? You know how I feel about Eddie Jones. And that's what when I watch Mikal, I'm like, that's Eddie Jones right there. So I do enjoy and the fact that y'all handled.
I don't know if he got Eddie's athleticism though, Chill. Eddie was a super freak.
And that's the same.
Yeah, Eddie T, Iron Man, bro. He don't miss no games.
Yeah, not only that, not only that, his ability to defend too. I think that's what I see the most when I think about Eddie Jones and I think about Mikal Bridges. That's who he reminds me of when I watch him. So I mean, I definitely pay attention to your Brooklyn Nets. You know I do. I might not big them up. I might not big them up as much as you want because that's the New York. I mean, that's the New York fan. That's how New Yorkers get down. They think that they the center of the universe and that the basketball world ain't nobody else rocking except the Knicks. Ain't nobody else rocking except Brooklyn. We can't talk about nobody else. That's the New York Knicks fan, man. That's the New York fan base. That's how they get down over there. What can I say?
Hey, listen, man. It's all about the Knicks, baby. Shout out to you, Breezy. As somebody who's from New Jersey as well, I'm always rooting for the Nets. Definitely don't think they should be in Brooklyn, though. I think they should still be in Jersey, but I'm biased about that, though. I'm biased about that. As a Jersey native, I'm biased about that.
I'm from Jersey. I can't stand it.
So Chill. I know y'all talked about the Knicks, right? Y'all were talking about it. First and foremost, I'm the biggest Ant-Man. Other than you, Chill, I'm the biggest Ant-Man supporter on this PC channel. Everybody know how I feel about Ant-Man. He Michael Jordan to me. But I feel like the Knicks, right? I'm saying this. They done with RJ. RJ got to get out of here. The guy I'm looking at, Chill, that I think almost every team who's trying to contend should try to go get him for the cheap. Man, I think Miles Bridges is a problem. I think Miles Bridges is a legit player on a contending team that can help you over the hump. I think he's rebounding defensively, his motor. Like, for him to go as long as he went without balling and come back and get right back in the fold, it just shows you he was working on his game even when he wasn't playing. I love Miles Bridges is my guy right now.
Well, two things about Miles Bridges. Let's remember he wasn't injured; he just had to sit out. Right? It wasn't like he was hurt. That's number one. Number two, before he got into that nonsense, he told Jay to hold that $60 million. I'm worth more than that.
I'm worth more than that.
Hey, you hold that.
But even with that though, Chill, once we get out, once some players get out there, and you ain't anybody supervising over you, they can get into all kind of stuff. Look at Zion, like you never know. So for him to have the discipline to say, you know what, I know I got to sit my butt down right now, but I'm still gonna work on my game. He coming back after a year and a half off with new stuff. Like it's stuff. Three ball look better. I'm like, God, leave Miles Bridges, man.
Well, wait a minute though, Early. I mean, at the end of the day, I am a baller. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a baller, right? So,
like, come on now.
Just because I sat out, that don't mean I ain't doing nothing. I am working on my game. I'm still getting nice because I ain't kicked out the league, right? It's not like my career is over. I'm still trying to get. I'm still trying to get myself back into the league. And once he gets himself back in. I mean, again, like I said, he told Jay to hold that $60 million. So if he doesn't get into that nonsense with his lady, we was looking at a max player.
Facts.
I think he had a career year that year.
Most definitely. I think they would give him like 130 or something like that, 150 or something like that.
I think he had a career year that year. He told Jay to hold on to that 4 years and $60 million. Now you hold on to that. I'm good.
So it's three guys that I think the Knicks could get to kind of help them. I don't know if it gets them over the hump.
I don't agree with Miles Bridges though. That doesn't take us to where we need to go.
Okay, so it's three guys with other than Miles. There's two other guys I love. I think they can probably try to go get a Kuzma. I think I'm getting. Listen, what Kuzma brings on the offensive end and rebounding wise, I would move Barrett for him. And another guy, I think, even though he's an older guy, I think Jeremy Grant from the Trailblazers would fit real good with him.
Enough. Chill, as a Knicks fan, I don't even want to entertain any of those suitors because listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, this is the problem. This is the problem with what everything is early saying, and this is why I always get, I think, too much heat about thinking that winning matters. Those are moral victories. Any one of those guys is not propelling the Knicks to have better chances of winning a title.
Kuzma doesn't move the needle.
Does he move the needle? Does he move the needle?
Does Miles Bridges move the needle?
Does Miles Bridges move the needle? Like the thing is, this is my problem is, and I think this is a problem in all sports. When we talk about teams and making moves, we talk about bringing a player because we think it sounds or looks good. But what looks good? Going to the second round of the playoffs again? That looks good. Maybe getting out of the first round? That looks good. Just going to the Eastern Conference Finals and losing? That looks good. Like early to sit here and get Kyle Kuzma, Jeremy Grant, and Miles Bridges to add them on a team with Jalen Brunson and Randall to add them as the third member of a big three to think that those players and those totality makes a championship level basketball team is so unrealistic. And you also disrespecting us as New York fans.
Okay, well, J-Rod,
that's a move worth us.
If we being honest, J-Rod, if we being honest, we both know as you a Knicks fan, right? So all my Knicks guys out there, y'all both know all the Knicks fans, y'all know y'all never win with Jalen Brunson, right? You never win with him.
Stop.
You never win with him.
Let's talk about it.
As a distributor, you'll never win with him.
Not according to some people.
Unless you have a point guard next to him.
So he's early. So now early want to get on his high horse because I don't agree with the three regular ass above average.
You'll never win with a Jalen Brunson, and you know that. Unless you get a point guard to go with him.
So because I don't agree with the three above average players who are B at best players who are not going to bring us to a championship, you want to throw a shot at Jalen Brunson.
Well, first of all, you disrespect Miles Bridges. I think Miles Bridges is a perennial all-star. Perennial all-star.
Maybe you should have gave me better suggestions on players to bring into my team.
Hey, you know you can't win with Jalen Brunson.
Hey,
I can't win with Miles Bridges.
As your main point guard? J-Rod, as your main. Chill. Come on, chill.
Hold on.
All right. We wow right now.
He's losing.
As your main point guard, chill. Come on, chill. Be honest, chill.
Hold on. Can I just say one thing, chill? I don't want to get into a big shout match early. Already in here screaming. We just chatting, but
I apologize.
Yeah, I know.
You know me, man.
Yeah, I know. I love you to death. Now listen to me early. There's one thing you also didn't want to mention about Jalen Brunson. Did I and Chilltown not agree with me that I said I don't think Jalen Brunson is our number one, but I do think we need to find somebody well enough to pair him with. I don't think he's
our point guard.
Come on, bro. What's up with this Jalen Brunson disrespect, bro?
This is ridiculous.
He ain't your point guard. Don't do that off of 50 points. Don't do that off of 50 points. Now all of a sudden, don't do that.
Early, hold on. Bones, what you got?
So my main problem is you let Ticket. You was basically co-signing with Ticket that Brunson not top 15. Now, I feel like he's better than Darius Garland. Like, I don't know where y'all get that from. I understand he's been on All-Star before and all that, but like, if you look at player for player and then you look at their bags and then Brunson 50%, like it's ridiculous. My fault. It's ridiculous, bro. Like,
see this logic right here. I feel like it. This is the emotional, subjective Knicks fan. Give me facts, B. I hate when y'all come up here with this. I'm sorry.
I can name 20 players better than Jalen Brunson, dog.
I'm all ears.
I swear. I hate it. I hate the subjective, emotional.
We talking
gets my blood pressure up. First and foremost, number one. I didn't agree with Ticket. What I said was give me 15 guys at the lead guard spot that you think are better than Jalen Brunson. I'm all ears. He started struggling after 9. That's number one. Number two, when I think about Jalen Brunson, I don't think about Jalen Brunson as a lead guard. I think about him as more of a combo, more of a scoring guard. That's what I look at him as. But even still, Bones, when we talk about Jalen Brunson, give me facts, B.
I got facts.
I got facts.
Go ahead.
I got facts. He busted your man Donovan ass twice in the playoffs. 2-0. What's the word? 2-0. How is he better than him still? Talk to me, chill. Talk to me nice. 2-0.
Right here.
2-0.
Nah, Donovan's still better than him, dog.
You appreciate
Donovan's still better than him.
Right? I don't care if he better than him.
Donovan's still better than him.
Ass twice. Put some respect on his name, bro.
He busts his team ass, bro. He busts his team ass.
This dude Stacks is so corny. Let me tell you why.
Why didn't Donovan? How am I?
Go ahead.
This dude is so corny. This dude is so corny. Here's why he's so corny.
Hold on, Stacks.
He completely leaves out that I watched Donovan Mitchell and I watched Donovan Mitchell not only do his job, but I watched Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson go at it in that series. He had that one bad game. He definitely had that one bad game. But we completely leaving out how the Dallas Mavericks schemed against Utah, stretching them out. But if I let Stacks tell it, it was all Jalen Brunson. He bust Donovan Mitchell ass, even though Donovan Mitchell was doing what he was doing in that series. Add that to the fact that Donovan Mitchell has a track record of being good in the playoffs. Jalen Brunson just got here. And I'm going off of one series where he outplayed him. Get the hell out of here, man. I'm sick of these Brooklyn and Bronx and New York dudes. I'm tired of y'all dudes, man. Get these dudes out of here. I'm tired of them. I'm sick of them, yo. I swear I'm sick of them dudes.
Chill, there is not a GM in the NBA that's taking Jalen Brunson over Donovan Mitchell.
I'm tired
of
these GM. They make me sick.
The only reason they got Jalen Brunson is because they couldn't get Donovan Mitchell because he went to the Cavs. Like that's the only reason they even got him. So we can't talk like that. Ain't no way you taking Jalen Brunson over Donovan Mitchell at all. No way.
I'm not. I actually personally think the only situation with Donovan Mitchell, I think the fit just ended up being worse than we thought. I think when we initially thought about Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs, I think we really thought that was going to be a good fit, and I just don't think it ended up being the right fit for Donovan, honestly. And I also think in some ways, I do think some destinations do matter for people when it comes to the NBA. I also don't think Donovan particularly loves being in
Cleveland.
And
That's a fact. He still wants to be
what I'm saying? I don't think he wants to be there neither.
Yeah, I don't think he particularly loves it. Yeah, I don't think.
And he doesn't have a legit lead guard. We underestimate how good Mike Conley is. Look what Mike Conley is doing in Minnesota. We underestimate how good Mike Conley was for Donovan Mitchell.
I don't really have a problem with the fit because they got better. Right. I feel like Cleveland got better. When you add a perimeter scorer, when you add a perimeter playmaker like Donovan Mitchell, especially with the defense that Cleveland had, that's gonna make your team a lot better, which it did. Right. I mean, they were a top 5 seed last year. They go from being a play-in team to being a top 5 seed. They had the best defense in the league last year. The problem that Cleveland had was they got beat up. Evan Mobley got beat up. Jared Allen got beat up. And the same thing that I thought Cleveland was going to do to the Knicks did that to Cleveland. That's what ultimately happened. They looked like they were a little less. They looked like they were a little more passive because that was the first time they'd been there, and I expected them to do more. This season, I expected Cleveland to be a lot better. But you ain't selling me that Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson are in the same conversation. Hell no.
Not at all.
I agree.
That's never been a good idea.
I agree.
Where would Donovan be good at, Chill? Where would Donovan be good at?
I actually like him in Cleveland, B. How about we let this thing if these dudes could stay healthy, which they can't right now, but we only seen one season. And now we got Darius Garland out for maybe a month. Now we got Evan Mobley out for 2 months. Now we got that going on. I think that we haven't really seen this crew materialize and turn into what I think they could turn into. I think that this year, they was challenging. I feel like this year they was challenging for getting to the Eastern Conference Championship. And I felt like next year, they challenged to get to the NBA Finals. I felt like they were a year, maybe 2 years away from really challenging to get to the finals. But this year, I didn't think that they were a championship team. I felt like they were a legit contender in the East. But now that these dudes got banged up, this is where we are. I felt like they was better than Utah. I felt like they was better than Utah when he was in Utah.
So, what I would challenge you in this regard. Do you think?
I want him at Miami.
Look, I think Donovan Mitchell's game, and I shout out to Big Ox in the chat. I think D Mitch could really, the way his game is, I think you could kind of put him in most backcourts because of his ability to score, athleticism, all of that nature. But honestly,
come to Miami.
I think he should. I do agree with I don't know why he want to stay in Cleveland. I think they have a good young nucleus. But the thing is, I don't know if his heart is in it. If his heart not in it, that could sometimes just be it. Like if his heart not in Cleveland, like if he don't in his heart see himself being able to win a title in Cleveland, I don't think he's gonna give Cleveland everything he's got.
J-Rob, he had a career year last year. J-Rob,
I don't disagree.
I can't have a guy who has a career year saying that his heart ain't in it. I mean, the things that he did in Cleveland last year, he didn't do that 1 year when he was in Utah. Not one. So the talent level that he was playing with, the guys that he was playing with, the nucleus that he had, this might be the best collection of young talent that he's had, right? This might be, and I want to see this thing. And again, we're talking about Donovan Mitchell at 26 years old. Them dudes on Cleveland, those are kids. Darius Garland, 23, Evan Mobley, 21, Okoro, 22. Like, we kids. The fact that but
it's Cleveland, chill. Only reason LeBron's saying it because he's from Ohio.
Chill.
I understand that. I do. I understand that.
Chill. Real quick, I just wanted to say they had rumors of us getting him off a trade. I said negative. They talking about him in the signing. I still say negative. Signing at the end of the season and off season, I still say negative. I see the upside with Cam Thomas, and we got him on that contract. There's no reason when guys like you said. Hold on to what Chill said.
I like Cam Thomas.
Hold on.
I hate Cam Thomas.
Hold on. It's not necessarily to say that. Putting them in the same realm to say that Cam Thomas is as good as Donovan Mitchell. What I am saying is, to what Chill said, if he has an attitude to know that he's one of the veterans on the team, and to a group of young guys say his heart not in it, you sending a message of not being a leader. We don't need that. We just had some of that with KD and Kyrie, where they just kind of, did their own thing per se, as far as what they wanted to do with their specific careers. And we need what we have, and that's a cohesiveness. Case in point is, there's no reason us to mix us group up. This is the first season with this group. I say no to the Donovan Mitchell trade. I want to see us be teammates for more than one season. And again, the question I wanted to pose to Chill was, Mikal got that game in the return game, you know what I'm saying, with the Suns, and that was good to see. So I wanted to ask you, was there a favorite game you had ever where it was a return game for a player? Like he got traded and then he returned to the team and he gave him that work. Is there like a favorite game you know what I'm saying, that like, yo, they should have never traded him? Because right now everybody, the buzz is that we won the trade. Everybody's saying that the Brooklyn Nets won the trade in a longevity sense. So
I would have, that's a good question. I would have to think about that.
That is a good question.
who ended up coming back to the crew, and he gave them that work, and they actually won the trade. I got to think about that early. I got to think about that one. I got to think about that one, Breezy.
Good point.
That's a good one, no doubt.
And I meant Cam Johnson. I'm sorry, y'all talking about Cam Thomas. I love Cam Thomas. He remind me of Mitch Richmond. I'm thinking about Cam Johnson. I love Cam Thomas.
Yeah, no, I like Cam Thomas too. I think he's a God-given scorer. You know what I'm saying? And I do think for the Nets, I do think that's somebody you build around. I think he could be like your lead scorer. Like I think he's
solid to be his size, J-Rob. Him, I mean Mitch Richmond. He's solid for his size. Like he's really a big dude to be 6'4", 6'5" at that shooting guard position. He's tough, man. He take you down low already, man. If you got a post game already, man, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I like Cam Thomas' game a lot. I really do.
Hey, Chill, I got one. So
go ahead.
When you was talking about the best teams, that ever played the game, we can go to the Rockets, Spurs, Bulls. How many? And since you was talking about D Mitch, it's really about the Cavs. How many years do you give this young core and this young unit before you start questioning? Can they do it or not? Or do you think they should get somebody else? Like, what do you think about that?
I feel like when you get a franchise player and a great complimentary player, you don't break that up. Now, there's stuff that you can add to it. Like, for example, what's going on in Boston. You do not break up Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. We holding on to these two dudes. We'll continue to build around them. I feel like in Cleveland, with adding Donovan Mitchell already to Evan Mobley, I'm not getting off Evan Mobley. I'm not coming off Darius Garland. These guys are my core. And I feel like they're getting better. I mean, Darius Garland, before he ended up with Donovan Mitchell, he was an all-star. I feel like Evan Mobley at some point, I feel like he's going to be the best defensive player in the game. He's not getting better offensively like I want him to. I think eventually he's going to be a double-double guy, but he's not getting there as fast as I want him to. And I think I got to chill out on that because I do see the talent, but I want this to be like right now. And I got to chill out on that. I feel like he is that. But to answer your question, I feel like young guys that are franchise and great complimentary players, you hold on to them for as long as possible. You just build around those guys for as long as possible.
I just felt like it was a little bit different in Boston because they got them both in the draft, and in the cash it's a little bit different because you got the trade from that, and you got more money and stuff like that. But
they ended up adding Donovan Mitchell, but you got Darius Garland in the draft, you got Evan Mobley in the draft, so we are building around these two dudes now. To add, Donovan Mitchell, you kind of accelerating the process because when we're trying to win, that window ain't open long. It's not. That window is not open long, especially when you're able to get a dynamic player like Donovan Mitchell. So
that's a fact. Appreciate it.
So do you wanna let these boys go and then get back?
Man. It was good to see you dudes early. Yes, Bones, Big Breezy. I think Kaz
man, appreciate you, Chill. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Nah, for real. Y'all like the video.
And your Stir has something to say. Them two dudes, they had something to say. What up, fellas? What up, Kaz?
Yo, what's going on, Chill?
I know you a Jersey native, you know what I'm saying? I'm from Jersey too, from Patterson, New Jersey. But you know what I'm saying?
You're like county in the house.
I'm from Jersey. I'm from Jersey too, Kaz. Damn, bro.
You like an NBA encyclopedia. What can you tell me about the player Tim Thomas?
Oh, Tim Thomas, born and raised in Jersey, played 1 year in Villanova, 6'10", man. He would be awesome in today's game, man. Tim Thomas, stretch 3. He wouldn't be a stretch 4. He'd be a stretch 3. 6'10", had a money mid-range game, could knock down the long ball. He kind of had a smooth way about his game. He could rebound with the best of them, wasn't soft, could score at all 3 levels. Tim Thomas was awesome, man. He only played 1 year at Villanova. He was nice. I think he went to Patterson Catholic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he from Patterson, New Jersey.
Oh, fire.
Yeah. Fire. I think he went to Patterson Catholic. He was nice, yo. Tim Thomas was awesome. No doubt about it.
Shout out to Patterson Catholic before they shut down, man.
Him and
I got one question for you, J-Rob. Why do my Giants suck, bro? Why do we suck?
Actually, bro, your Giants right now look like they on a bit of a hot streak. And I'm going to tell you something, Kaz, that people may not like to hear about the game of football, man. This is what I really think. In the game of football, sometimes you adopt the personality of not only your head coach, but sometimes your quarterback. And when you don't have faith, and you don't have, real, hope that the guy at the top is going to lead you there, I think it trickles down through a whole football team. If you notice, Kaz, your last 4 or 5 games, y'all are 3-1 in your last 4 with Tommy DeVito, undrafted out of Syracuse. He is literally, Kaz, you guys haven't made not one move this season for the Giants. You haven't made any moves. Y'all literally have the same team y'all started with, and I think you and I will both agree it looks like a completely different football team. And I just think that starts at the head of the snake. I think there's a legitimate chance that you guys could sneak into the offs. Y'all went out the rest of the year. So, I think when you win, winning has it's contagious. You feel me? And I think Tommy DeVito and Dayball are kind of bringing this different energy to your squad. So I think ultimately, Kaz, you might be finding yourself in a quarterback controversy going into next year. Because I think that
I was about to ask you that, J-Rob. Are you out on Danny Dimes?
I've been out. I actually been out on Daniel Dimes. I've been out on Daniel Dimes. Like I've been out. I don't think he's that good. Yeah, I've been out.
I seen him in that Vikings game, and I was like, hold on, this is something. I was like, maybe he could be elite when I seen him play against the Vikings last season. And then
I thought that was the outlier.
I don't know what happened.
I thought that game was more the outlier. I don't think Giants fans should have ever bought into Daniel Jones, and I think him getting that contract was a travesty. You can't. This is not the NBA. You can't pay dudes off what you think they're going to be. It's not the NBA. The NFL, you got to pay for what somebody is, not for what you think they're going to be.
Because you don't know how long they're going to be around.
You don't know. You just don't know. So
all different.
Kaz, be optimistic with your team, brother. Be optimistic. I like the foundation.
I'm hoping for 9-8. I'm hoping for 9-8.
I like the foundation y'all building 100%. Definitely stay optimistic, bro. For real.
Mm-hmm. All right. Good to talk to you, Kaz.
Yes, sir,
Good
Kaz.
to talk to you, Kaz,
See
money.
you later, brother.
Your star. What up, brother?
How's it going, Chill?
Yo,
I'm just here to talk about the statement that you made where you were questioning regarding like Luka's potential, right? In comparison to Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I agree in terms of production, you're not going to really get more than 32, 9 and 9. Maybe you could have a James Harden season where he's going 36, 9 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But I believe the way that you get to that production can very well change along with the team impact. And the number one thing I'm seeing between Jason Tatum and Luka is that Jason Tatum has the physical. Like physically, he's at his peak, right? There's really not much to like above that he can go physically. Whereas Luka, on the other hand, unlike his skill, where it's like, yo, he's almost near the peak of his skills, but even then, I still don't think he is. Physically, he still has a lot more to improve.
He's actually gotten in better shape this season too.
He has, and
yes, he's gotten in better shape.
And
yes,
even from like the way that he is right now, you still see that little chin fat on him, and a bit in the torso as well. And I have a similar body type. Right, so when people say that, yo, Luka is just his like natural body, he's just meant to be a flabby guy. He's not. Especially if you look at his younger pictures, right, in EuroLeague,
right,
that boy has a chiseled jawline. I'm like,
I don't think Luka ever is going to be sliced up, and I don't care about that.
He's
right.
not.
I don't think he's ever going to be sliced up. Just like Joker is never going to be sliced up. But the reason why Joker got better, he ended up dropping what 30, 35 pounds. I mean, that enhanced his transition game, that enhanced his conditioning, enhanced his conditioning, which enhanced his transition game, which enhanced his mind. When I think about Luka, to your point, 32, 9, and 8 doesn't look the same for everybody. Luka could, in terms of his IQ, it could look different. I could definitely get with that logic, no doubt about that. But I feel like he is already. I mean, what are we in year 6? I mean, I feel like we're getting close to the ceiling with Luka in terms of his production. Now, how he's getting it, that could change because as time goes on,
that's where I was standing.
How he's getting it, that could change because he sees the game. Luka sees the game different today than he did in year 2.
Very much so, yeah.
He sees the game, and he may see the game different in 2 years, in year 8 than he did in year 5. So he still might be 31, 11, and 8. But that 31, 11, and 8 might be different where, okay, now he's a little slower with the ball and more patient on the pick and roll. He might be a little slower or faster in transition and looking for Tim Hardaway or another shooter to get them the basketball right where they need it, as opposed to 2 years ago where he wasn't really seeing it like that. So when I think about Luka, I don't think about him being a better player I don't think about him being a better player. I just feel like with the production, I just don't really feel like there's more. I can get with your logic about him getting it in a different way, but I don't really know how much more there is in terms of production.
I mean, I agree. Stats-wise, it's not really going to change much because, I mean, statistically, I mean, dude is pretty much near at peak levels, right? Like, stats-wise, he's doing more than LeBron ever did. If we're just looking at points, rebounds, and assists.
James was never 32, 33.
Right.
He was never that.
But then
James did average 31 one year. He did do that. He averaged, I think he averaged 30 or was it 29-9. He did that one year. But he was never 32, 9, and 8, 32, 11.
Exactly.
He wasn't doing that. No, he was not doing that.
And then I don't know how much you have watched the Dallas Mavericks this season, but if you just look at him physically, he's so much more quicker this season. Like, agility-wise, his step backs are way quicker. And as far as like pushing the transition, right? Way better. And defensively, that physicality that I was talking about, that he could still improve on. You see, he's having more lateral quickness, and as well as more effort because he has the more energy now that he's not as fat as he
That's what I
was
was about
last
to
season.
say. That was the
Right.
question I was about to ask you. Where does that come from? Well, it's the fact that he's gotten in
Right.
better shape. I feel like that's the main reason why, because he's gotten in better shape. So the effort is there. So is it fair to say that the defensive effort wasn't there because he wasn't in good shape?
I agree. Yeah.
So because he wasn't in good shape, shouldn't that be an indictment on Luka? Come on, Luka, you gotta get
Very
yourself in
much
better
so.
shape, brother.
Very much so. That's
Come
why
on,
you see
man.
the profile picture I have.
Because you showing me a dude who can defend. You showing me a dude who will give me effort, right? You are showing me a guy that's giving me better effort. You are showing me a guy who can be better offensively if you get
Right.
yourself in better shape. That's unacceptable, brother. Unacceptable.
So my question to you is, so let's suppose that Luka does get shredded, right? And his 3-point percentage is increased from last year.
Bro, he's not getting shredded, bro.
Bro,
he's never going to have that body
trust me,
type.
bro. Trust me.
Like, bro, hold on. But pause.
No,
his body frame is amazing. It's crazy.
Yes.
But all I'm saying is, to expect him to be 6-packed and all of that, bro, like that's not going to be his build ever, bro.
I mean, if he chooses not to, yeah, that's fine. But
I don't.
Bro, he's in what, year 5, year 6?
This is year 6.
Like, yo, you would see it. You would start to see it now.
Hey man,
I think him working on his conditioning though, like him staying in shape, conditioning will always help him out, bro. If you're in shape and you're conditioned, everything else is still gonna upgrade. Like he may not be cut up, but because he may be 10 pounds lighter, he's going to be quicker naturally. His defense is going to be just naturally better because he's going to be able to pick him up and put him down faster. So I don't think you gotta say if he gets shredded. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the thing is, like, sure, I don't think it's a likelihood, but I do believe he has the potential to get shredded, though, is what I'm saying. But chill, my question is, where do you see Luka peaking out as far as the all times go?
If he can keep himself in
the way he's playing this season, the way he's playing this season.
If he could keep it, what is Luka, 24, something like that?
24, yeah.
Yeah, if he could keep himself in the shape that he's in, I think he's a top 2, top 3 player for the next 8 to 10 years. I think that he could be that.
Like all time?
All time. And when we talking about all time, he's got to win. He's got to win.
Okay.
And he's got to win. He's got to do what the all-time greats have done. He's got to be awesome for a minimum a decade. He's got to be the league MVP at some point, more than once, or even if it is once. He's got to win, and he's got to win at a high level. He can't just be. Like I said, when I have my criteria for being an all-time great, number 1 is your game timeless.
Got it.
Number 2, did you dominate? Now you can't with these 2 things, you can't just do these things and you ain't winning. That's why winning is number 3. You was kicking ass. Your game is timeless. Well, were you winning? So that stuff matters. So where we are with Luka is a fantastic player. I won't argue that. I think Luka is a fantastic player. I'd like to see him better defensively. But you have guys who, as good as they were offensively, it kind of negates that, like Magic, like Steph Curry, because they were so good offensively that kind of goes the other way. However, they did win, and they won on the strength of them. So if Luka could continue to do that, we could start talking about him like we talk about the all-time greats. Until then, I can't have this conversation.
All right, that sounds good. And just one quick question. This is like for the older players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between Rick Barry and Jerry West, who would you take?
Jerry West.
Jerry West, got you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
right,
brother. Yep, good to talk to you.
Thanks so much.
Yep. And
brother.
And J-Rob, I think the thing that, like, we got to do it in the chat. Tank Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I am very. This is why you got it. This is why the judicial system is what it is. This is why dudes go to prison for stuff that they didn't do, because people hear what they want to hear. People generate opinions on what they think it is, even when that's not a fact. So when Tank Jones says that I said Luka peaked, I did not say that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not say that. What I said was I don't know how much more is there. I do think that there's more there. I just don't know how much more is
left.
That's what I said.
I get what
but
you're
if
saying.
you listen to Tank, this dude did it. He going to prison. My man, pay attention, B.
No,
if you're gonna hold me accountable, hold me accountable for what I said, not what you think I said. Not what you think I said, or not what you want to interpret it as. Hold me accountable for what I say, brother. Don't do that. I never said that.
I agree. I definitely listen. I get it. Chill. Listen, I'm on here just as much as you. I get it. I definitely think sometimes the chat gets more reactionary.
Yes.
They react more than they actually listen to what you say. They may hear like the first 3 sentences, and then they harp on the first 3 sentences, and then boom. Like I was getting served for talking about the Knicks, like saying Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle not being catalyst for a championship is crazy. It's not crazy. There's no evidence to prove that. But hey, before we get into the top 10 teams in the NBA, Chilton, I did want to mention something, but I want to wait till it's just you and I because I did think it was important to mention. I know you love Ant-Man. The same way y'all love Ant-Man, that's how I feel about SGA.
Mm-hmm.
I think SGA deserves top 3 consideration for the MVP. Nobody talks about that he's leading the NBA in steals. I think that gets you on an all-defense team, don't you think? It got to one of the 3 teams.
He's gotten better defensively this year. He's definitely
I think I think the 50, 40, 90 split that he might have by the end of the year. I'm like, yo, I think we got to start talking more about SGA's impact. Like 3 steals a game, over 30 points, 40% from the 3. He's assisting, he's rebounding the basketball. He is literally the engine, and he's playing around a lot of babies. Chill. He's probably
all of them are.
And he might be a baby himself. Is he 25? 25?
I think he just turned 25.
Yeah, 25. And he's playing with a bunch of 21, 22, 20-year-olds. And I don't think people give him enough credit for being a young leader on an even younger team. And they're the 3rd seed.
I'm not ducking no smoke, yo. You are a delusional, emotional Knicks fan, and I'm not trying to hear that. I'm ducking smoke and facts. We talking about a dude in Jalen Brunson. You wasn't even talking about Jalen Brunson.
It wasn't.
The only reason why you brought up Jalen Brunson because he played for the Knicks. You wasn't talking about Jalen Brunson 2 years ago. You talking about I'm ducking smoke. Get your emotional Knicks fan ass out of here. I ain't trying to hear you, but keep going, J-Rob. I feel dudes like that, yo. I don't, man. I don't.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Listen, I already know. As a Knicks fan myself, I'll admit right now, when we traded for Jalen Brunson and I saw the money we gave him, I lost my mind. I didn't know what we was doing.
Nobody was blown over. Nobody was writing home about Jalen Brunson. Nobody was like, no, we got Jalen Brunson. We back in the middle. Nobody was saying that. Nobody. Now all of a sudden, this dude trying to sell me that now we talking about Jalen Brunson like we talk about Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, no, I disagree. No, don't get too upset because I agree with you. As a Knicks fan, you are right. And I think when Knicks fans compare Jalen Brunson to the top 5, top 10 guards in the NBA, I think we start getting a little disingenuous because I know most of us was not looking at Jalen Brunson to be the type of player that he's been for us. So I don't think you should get too involved because some Knicks fans, we're a little delusional, but we ain't won nothing either. So it's like we ain't did nothing. So let's get to these.
Back to your point. Let's get to
this top 10. Let's get to these top 10 teams and then we'll finish up with these super chats. So what do you want to do? You want to go back and forth, or do you want to give me your 10, or do you have a 10?
I'll give you my 10 real quick. So I got at number 10, I got Sacramento. I got, and they're a worse defensive rebounding team this year. I think that's one of the reasons why. They aren't as good as they were last year. I got the Lakers at 9. I think that the Lakers could be better defensively than they are, and I think that that's going to change. I got Dallas at 8, and all the numbers, J-Rob, suggest that Dallas should not be a top 15, top 20 team, but they got Luka Doncic. Yeah. So because they got Luka, that's why they're a top 5 seed in the West. He does so much for this crew. He makes this crew so much better. He's making guys like Derek Lively, who's a baby. Look like he's a baby. He's making him look like he's something special, which I think that he might be. I think he may be special. I really think that he may be special.
I think if there wasn't a Wembanyama and a Chet Holmgren, we'd be talking about Derek Lively a lot more than we're talking about him.
I think he may be special. And I think that's largely due to Luka unlocking him. The legit lob threat that he is, not only the rim runner that he is, absolutely. I dig everything about him. At number 7, I got Milwaukee. If they were better defensively, we'd have a serious conversation. Even though we're talking about Anthony Davis, and we're talking about Rudy. If they were better defensively, Giannis would be the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
The reason why they are who they are is because Giannis does what he does on the defensive end.
Yeah,
if you look at this crew, I think in clutch moments, they're a top 3 defense in clutch moments. The problem is that getting to clutch moments.
Yeah.
That's the problem. J-Rob, they got 5 games this year, 6 games, including a couple of days ago, where they've given up 120 or more. They only had one game last year this time that they gave up 120 or more. One, that's it. That's largely due to the point guard that they have.
Yeah.
They don't have that now, right? So I got them. I think it's going to take some time for them to get better. Oklahoma City, I got them at 6. I know where you are with. I know exactly where you are with SGA. I think SGA is fantastic. I see Steve Smith step more skill. That's who I see when I watch when I watch SGA. He got that silky smooth game, and he fools you with his athleticism. And on the defensive side of the basketball, I think that he could be elite because he's shown improvement over the years, right? He's shown improvement over the years, which I really dig. The MVP conversation. Here's the problem, though, J-Rob, and I know that you want to have this conversation about him. Of the 15 wins that they have, and I said this yesterday. Of the 15 wins that they have, 5 of them have come against playoff teams.
Yeah,
10 of them have come against non-playoff teams. Of the 7 losses that they have, I think it's 8 losses that they have. 7 of them have come against playoff teams. So they are beating who they should beat in the bad teams. Problem is that they're losing to the good teams. Now, that doesn't mean that has anything to do with SGA, because SGA could very well be doing his job. It could very well be because this crew is young. What I don't want to do is what I don't want to do, J-Rob, is I don't want to overrate them right now. I think that they're going to be different in 2 months.
Right.
I think that, and I still think that I still think that they are. I still think that they are. If I'm not mistaken, I had them as a playoff team, legit playoff team before the season started. I had them at 6. I think they're a top 5 team. Once we get to late April, I still think Oklahoma City is a top 5 team. Philly, I got at 5. I mean, Joel Embiid, as of right now, we're having a serious conversation about him being a back-to-back league MVP. He leads the league in free throws. He's second in the league in free throw attempts. That offense has changed largely because of Joel Embiid. He's the reason why they go the way they go. So I think that matters. And number 4, I got the Denver Nuggets, who have moved up. Right, the Denver Nuggets have moved up. They're getting a lot better. And remember, I made this list 2 days ago. Right, I made this list 2 days ago. Denver, they're getting healthier now. I think they're back in the 2nd spot. They're in the 2nd seed, so they're getting healthy, and they look like they're starting to get that stride back. So, I mean, they got the best player on the planet in Joker, and I think that they're going to move up. When we have this conversation after the next 25 games, I think Denver's going to move up. At number 3, I had Orlando. They got smoked last night by Boston. But from what I had seen with them, J-Rob, they 3rd in the league. Before last night, they was 3rd in the league in points allowed. They was 2nd in the league in rebounding. They was 3rd in the league in forced turnovers. They're one of the better teams in the game in that aspect. I think that we got a little bit of a problem with them in rim protection. I think that's an issue. But with that being said, right? With that being said, I think Orlando's going to be a problem continuously in the East. At number 2 and number 1, J-Rob, I'm struggling. To be honest with you, because I got the Boston Celtics winning the NBA championship. But I'm on this Minnesota train, man. I'm on this Minnesota train, B. I am. I'm on this Minnesota train. So I'm struggling with these 2. I am, B. I got Minnesota at 2.
Can I help you out?
Please help me out, J-Rob.
The Boston Celtics are like your 49ers. They're always going to make it there, but they ain't going to finish the job.
I don't know about this year.
How many times have you said that? How many times have you said that about both teams? About both teams.
I think it's this year, though, J-Rob. I do. I think it's this year, and I got Minnesota at 2. I mean, they're 11-4 against playoff teams. They 2nd in the league in points allowed. You know, they top 3 in the league, and I think top 5 in the league in rebounding. So I love everything about Minnesota. Defensively, I think they're the best team in the league defensively. Offensively, this Cat and Rudy Gobert combination is actually working how I thought it would work. So I'll dig Minnesota. But at the top, I got Boston. I think they're the best team in the NBA. But it's like this, J-Rob. It's like this. It's not like, Boston is head and shoulders, because no, they're not. No, they are not.
How much do you think your list will change by the time, let's say, we get to trade deadline is February 8th. So by the time we get to March, any of these teams that you think could shoot up the rankings by that time?
Yes.
Because, like, for example, what if the Milwaukee Bucks go get an OG Anunoby? How do they change?
That's what I was getting ready to say. I got Milwaukee at 7. I think Milwaukee's going to move up this list. I got Denver at 4. I think Denver's going to move up the list.
Can the Lakers move up from 9? I mean, you got them at 9.
I do have them at 9, and I think I think currently they're at 8, but they got to get more consistent. J-Rob, I got to see that 6-7 game winning streak. I got to see that 7-8 game winning streak, and I got to see it. I got to see it more. I got to see it more than I've not seen it. Right? I got to see that 5 game winning streak with this team, and if I see that, I feel like the Lakers can move up. Sack too. This list is going to change. This list is going to change 100%. I think that the 1 and the 2. I think the 1, 2, I think Boston, I think Minnesota, I think Denver. I think those 3 teams, I think those 3 teams are going to stay in the top 3. I do. But I think Milwaukee's going to move up. I think Oklahoma City, I think that they could be around 5, 6. I think Philly could move up to 4. But other than that, I do see my list changing. Yes, I do.
Hey, before we get into Super Chat, my last question to you, Philadelphia. I don't think we're talking about Philadelphia enough. Like, I think we talk about them, but
you know why we're not talking about them?
I think they're a contender too. Real one.
Well, the reason why we're not talking about them is the same reason why we're talking about the Knicks. Like, what do you see from Joel Embiid in the postseason? That's all that matters. J-Rob, you've seen Joel Embiid doing what he's doing now. This is the 3rd year in a row he's leading the league in scoring. This is the 3rd year in a row he's been a great rim protector. You've seen all of this. We need to see this translate into the postseason. We're waiting for Joel Embiid to be that dominant player in the postseason. Well, OG, he got hurt. He got hurt in the postseason. That matters. How many times, J-Rob, am I going to be able to tell you?
Before you,
How many times am I going to be able to tell you that, Daniel Jones got hurt? That's why he couldn't play in the playoffs. How many times are you listening to that? After a while, you're going to be like, yo, you tired of it. You're tired of hearing that. So that's where I'm at with Joel Embiid. I see what he's doing. I see that. I think he was 35 and 14 last night in 29 minutes. So
29 minutes.
This ain't news. We already know who Joel Embiid is. I need to see it in the postseason. Until I see it in the postseason, what I'm seeing right now,
yo, that's
good.
funny. That's funny. Okay. No, I feel you. I know who else in 2. Tyrese Maxey is moving me. Oh, he's a baller. He's a baller. He's a baller. He's a baller. So let's get into these super chats. We got a few of them. Let's get to the first one. Lee Avstar, chill. Do you know Shotgun Shug? He says he's Shaq's cousin.
Shotgun Shug.
The battle rapper.
Oh yeah, he's from Jersey.
He's
from Jersey. Yup.
Yeah,
yes, sir. He's nice too, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Shotgun Shug.
He's nice too. Yes,
hey,
he is.
I already feel shout out to all them boys out in New Jersey, man. Free to wave, if you know Free to Wave, man. Marquevian Black, salute J-Rob, salute Chill. Happy Sabbath, you heard. Yes, sir. Appreciate
Thank you, brother. Yep, thank you.
Terry with 2 daddies. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning and chill. Do you remember when you said Bismack Biyombo is the modern day Wes Unseld?
No, I don't remember saying that because I didn't say that. No, I don't remember saying it because I did not say that.
Oh my goodness. Where do y'all rank the 23-24 Pistons amongst the worst teams all time?
Well, they ain't worse than Cleveland the year after James left. 10-11 Cleveland Cavs. They're not worse than them. So let's get to the bottom of that right now. They ain't worse than Philly that won 9 games in 73. They ain't worse than them. And I think that Dallas Mavericks team in I think it was 94, where I think they won 13 games at Dallas Mavericks team. So as of right now,
gotta have some teams too. I know the Clippers got one for you.
I was just about to say the 95, either the 94 or the 97 Clippers. One of those 2 teams. Goodness. Garbage. 100 garbage. Trash.
Could Cam end up having a better career than RJ? Well, it depends on what Cam we're talking. We talking Reddish or are we talking Cam Thomas?
I think he's talking about Cam Reddish. I do.
I actually will say, to be honest, I think in the next 5 years, people will look at Cam Reddish as a more valuable player because I think the way his defense is being showcased in LA, I think his offensive ceiling is actually higher than RJ's. And I think now that he's finally tapping into, because you know what they say, DeJounte Murray said it. When he first got into the league with the Spurs, he focused on making an all-defensive team, and that allowed him to get more confidence in his offensive game and get more or less of a leash by his coach. So I think if I'm looking towards the future, I actually would take Cam Reddish's upside going into the future than RJ's. What about D Bell? DeMar Johnson would be good in today's game as well. What do you think about that?
Johnson.
I don't know the name. I don't know the name.
I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank on DeMar Johnson.
I'll look
I'm drawing a blank on DeMar Johnson.
Johnson.
We'll come back to that one. We'll definitely come back to that.
He played for the Hawks. He was drafted in 2000, 6th overall pick.
DeMar Johnson.
Is this? I don't know. Small forward, shooting guard. I don't know. Let's go. Thoughts on the Pacers versus Wizards game. Y'all thoughts on Miles Turner? Shout out to my guy Miles. He builds Legos, not plays with Legos. Man, respect.
Tyrese Halliburton got hurt last night. So they ended up snapping a losing streak. Washington did, but I said this already that one of the main problems with the Indiana Pacers is you can go after their big man. You can definitely get whatever you want in the paint. I thought that Miles Turner was a better rim protector than he actually is. I don't know where that effort went. I have no idea where that effort went, and because I don't know where that effort went, I think that his team has suffered tremendously because of that.
Yeah, but he don't got no perimeter help either, though. He got to do a lot. I'm trying to cut him some slack. I think if he was on a different team, I think he'd be more energized. I do. Would you guys consider the Mavs a title contender?
No, I don't. I do think they're a playoff contender. 100%. There's a difference between being a title contender and being a playoff contender. They are a playoff contender.
What's the farthest in the playoff run you got for them?
Well, I seen them. I seen them. I seen with this kind of talent. I seen Luka get to the West Finals.
Right.
He does, and he's got a guy like Jalen Brunson on his crew and Kyrie Irving. So yes, but better. So I seen him get to the West Finals. So if Kyrie Irving can get healthy, it wouldn't be ridiculous if they got going. If they got going, it wouldn't be ridiculous to say that the Dallas Mavericks can get to the Western Finals because Luka is really that good.
No, I agree.
Luka is really that good. That's not.
And also, Kyrie, the way Kyrie got hurt, it was so fluky. Like his own teammate just falls on his leg. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I think they'll be back and perfectly fine. When Miami gets healthy, I want y'all to pay attention to them more. Shout out to Jaquez Jr. I like Jaquez.
Hey, real quick, Jamal, you ever watch players and you say, "Yo, that's a Knick right there," or "That's a Bull"? Like Jaquez, he looks like a Miami Heat, doesn't he? He just looks like that type of dude. He looks like I think they got the perfect guy.
I know we gotta go, but I do want to ask you one question, Chill, because I think this was a crazy conversation with Jaime and seeing what he's done so far in his rookie career in the NBA. He's obviously a 3-4 year player in college, and I think we're in a climate now where you're from the era where dudes played 4 years and still went first round. It wasn't a bad thing to spend extra time in college. Do you look at guys like Jaime Jaquez and think that he's a good sign for those college players who are out here, looking at themselves? Because I heard, I was having a conversation and he was just like, one of my friends at UConn, he just said, a lot of these young players, if they don't 1 and done, 2 years and done, they feel like they have failed. And but obviously you see Jaime Jaquez doing what he's doing. What would be your advice to some of these young players? I feel like you know all of this stuff about the game. You played Division I basketball, so what would your advice be to these players who feel like they gotta leave early?
The league is a lot younger today, so I would never question a guy sticking around in college because I feel like guys like Duarte in Indiana, he's a 4-year guy. Played 2 years during college, played 2 years at Oregon. He's really good for them. Jaime Jaquez. I feel like when you are more mature coming into the game, I think that you understand the game a little bit better. Now, I understand that the window for you is shorter because you got a lot of young guys around here.
Right.
But you have to go when you're ready. You have to go when you're ready. And because the league is as young as it is, if you feel like you're ready to go, then go. But I know for a fact, J-Rob, when I was 19, I was 20 years old, I was not ready to play.
You wasn't ready in the A.
I wasn't. No, at 20 years old, I was not ready to do that.
Do you think it's a maturity thing, or do you think it was a skill part of it?
No, it was definitely it was a combination. And remember too, J-Rob, I'm 20 years old. I'm 21. I'm 20 years old. It's 1993. So you got not only a big man era, you got grown-ups in the NBA. I was not a grown-up. I was 20 years old. I was a kid. So if I'm in the NBA at 1993, I'm dealing with dudes like Latrell Sprewell and Joe Dumars, Michael Jordan, and guys like that. These are adults. I'm a kid. I didn't really feel like I was prepared for that. Now further on, like when I got a little bit older, I felt like I could hold my own. But up until that point,
that's what's up. So our final one is the guy that Mark Johnson played with Denver. Yeah, I had said that. I said he played with the Hawks, played in Denver as well. 6'9", shooting guard. I think what he says, he's probably like one of those tall two guards that probably got forced to play more like a big. But in today's game, for sure,
be good. I don't remember him. I do not remember him. I apologize. I'll go look him up though, D.
That was our last super chat. Anything before we go?
Drink water, put a suit on. Don't drink and drive. Yo, man, call your mother, yo. Call your mother. Do that. But
and Pluto is a space fart.
And before we go any further, J-Rob, is Pluto a planet?
It's a space fart, man.